Ignore the bat in the walls. It's comics and shots. Completely improvised, semi-comedic music by Howard Stern's Mick the Nerd and YouTube's Mick the Man. Today's subject, Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld. What's the best way to describe Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld? Well, one way is basically She-Ra before She-Ra. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I love He-Man and She-Ra, but dear God, are they just composites of a bunch of DC properties. Comic properties. He-Man himself is like a combination of Conan the Barbarian and Shazam. Only not an orphan. And She-Ra, well, she's straight up like Amethyst, only instead of being a magical girl taken to like a normal world, she's a magical princess or a regular princess taken to a horrifying space dimension, brainwashed by an evil cult, and then healed by a magic sword. Metaphorically or literally, depending on the adaptation. Yeah, but back to Amethyst. Amethyst is cool, swords and sorcery type stuff. She Reyes isn't in the normal world, but when she goes to Gemworld, she's a badass princess with a sword who fights crime. Originally, it was going to be called Changeling, based on the traditional Changeling myth, when goblins would trade human babies for goblin babies, and the Changeling would be able to change shape or whatever. But, wouldn't you know it, DC already had a superhero named Changeling, Garfield Logan, formerly Beast Boy. And then later Beast Boy, and then back to Changeling again, then Beast Boy, then Changeling. He can't decide on a goddamn name. Once again, back to Amethyst. They have no idea what to do with that character, as well as swords and sorcery in general. Brian Michael Bendis tried rebooting the character, 2019, during that Wonder Comics run. As well as with a side comic by Amy Redar. It didn't work. Didn't work at all. See, the original comic was a traditional swords and sorcery isekai type thing. Kid from a normal world goes to another world, becomes a magical superhero, yada yada yada. The comics, the new ones, they tried to pull a genre subversion thing where it's like the House of Amethyst is corrupt now, and instead of magic being magic, it's science magic. They say, oh, it's a lot more like science in the hocus pocus on your world. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. It's magic. It's just regular magic. This isn't Ruby. This is Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld. Ruby is Ruby, Amethyst is Amethyst, and that's okay. Another subject, the Amy Redar book just got really weird and mean-spirited. All her friends from the original series, like Lady Topaz, or is it Prince Topaz? Prince Topaz and Lady Opal, I think. I'm sorry, I forget their names. They're just dicks to her for some reason. It made no sense. And, King and Queen Amethyst are also alive. Yeah, it was weird enough in the New 52 when they had, Queen Amethyst live, but King Amethyst die, but now they're supposedly both alive and evil. Ugh. And it was just very awkward, doesn't feel thematically accurate at all. And ever since then, DC barely touches on Gemworld because they've screwed with it so much. Screwed with the lore, screwed with the characters. And this classic DC property that was essentially the first magical girl in all comics. Yes, predating Sailor Moon. Magical girl superhero, sorry. Is barely being used. Because they have no idea what to do. Because they fumbled the bag. AKA DC Comics in general. For that, like, comment, and subscribe. Donate if you're feeling nice. And always remember, praise be to the Blood Elk. Lord Opal, you won't fail me this day.